Today we're talking about something that's probably keeping you up at night. You've poured your heart into your music, spent hours in the studio, finally released your track on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere, and then you check your stats. 0 streams. Maybe 5, 10, 20 if your mom and your best friend listened. And immediately you think, the algorithm hates me. Spotify is burying independent artists. The system is rigged. I get it. I've heard this from hundreds of musicians. But here's the hard truth I need you to hear today. It's not the algorithm. The algorithm isn't out to get you. In fact, the algorithm doesn't even know you exist yet. And that's actually the problem we need to solve. Over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to walk you through the real reasons your music isn't getting streams, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it. Some of this is going to sting a little. But if you stick with me, you're going to walk away with a clear roadmap to actually getting your music heard. Sound good? Let's dive in. The number one reason your music has 0 streams is brutally simple. Nobody knows it exists. Think about it. You hit publish on Spotify and your song joins 100,000 other songs that were released that same day. Your track is a single grain of sand on a beach and you're wondering why people aren't finding it. The algorithm isn't hiding your music. There's just nothing pointing anyone toward it in the first place. You need to understand something fundamental about how streaming platforms work. They're not discovery engines for unknown artists, they're recommendation engines. There's a huge difference. Spotify's job isn't to go find hidden gems and promote them. Spotify's job is to keep listeners engaged by showing them more of what they already like. So if you released a song and did nothing else, you're essentially expecting the platform to do all the work for you. But why would it? You haven't given it any data. You haven't shown any momentum. You haven't proven that anyone actually wants to hear this. Here's what most independent musicians do. They upload their track, maybe post once on Instagram, maybe tell their friends, and then they wait. They're waiting for the algorithm to magically discover their genius. But that's not how any of this works. The artists who are getting streams, even small independent artists getting their first 1,000 or 10,000 streams, they're not waiting. They're actively building awareness before and after release. They're treating the release like a campaign, not like an event. They're understanding that in today's music industry, you're not just an artist, you're also a marketer, whether you like it or not. Think about any successful song you know. Even before it blew up, someone was talking about it, someone was sharing it. There was a spark somewhere that gave the algorithm something to work with. You need to create that spark yourself. The algorithm can fan the flames, but you have to light the fire. Here's the second major issue. You're treating your music career like a transaction instead of a relationship. You drop a song and expect strangers to immediately care about it. But why should they? They don't know you. They don't know your story. They have 0 investment in your success. The artists who build sustainable careers, the ones who actually make it, they understand that it's all about relationships. They're not just collecting followers, they're building a community. They're engaging with people. They're showing up consistently. They're giving people a reason to care before they ever ask them to listen. I see so many musicians with this backwards approach. They think, first I'll make great music, then people will find it, then I'll build a fan base. But it actually works in reverse. You build the relationships first. You give value first. You become someone people want to support. Then when you release music, you have people who are actually waiting for it. This means being active on social media, but not in a spammy way. It means engaging with other artists in your genre. It means commenting, sharing, collaborating. It means building genuine connections with people who might become your fans. Every artist with a thriving career will tell you the same thing. Their early fans weren't strangers who stumbled on their music. They were people they had connected with, engaged with, built relationships with over time. Thirdly, let's talk about timing, because this is where so many independent musicians completely shoot themselves in the foot. They finish their song, upload it immediately, and then start thinking about marketing. That's way too late. Professional releases are planned months in advance. There's pre-save campaigns, there's building anticipation, there's teasing content, there's getting playlist curators interested before the song even drops. By the time the song is live, there's already momentum built up. But most independent artists do the opposite. They release the song on Friday and start promoting it on Saturday. At that point, you've already missed the critical window. Streaming platforms give your release the most visibility in its first few days. If you're not capturing streams immediately, the algorithm assumes nobody's interested and moves on. Here's what a proper release timeline looks like. At minimum, you should be building awareness 3 to 4 weeks before release. You should be creating content around the song, sharing your process, telling the story behind it, getting people genuinely interested. You should have a pre-save campaign running so that when the song drops, you immediately have streams hitting. You should be pitching to playlist curators 2 to 3 weeks before release, not after. You should be lining up premiere opportunities, podcast appearances, whatever you can do to create multiple touch points around your release date. The release itself should be the peak of a campaign that's been building for weeks, not the starting point. Thirdly, the fourth problem is the following. You are not specific about your audience. Here's a question that stumps most musicians I work with. Who exactly is your music for? And everyone who likes good music is not an answer. That's not an audience. That's a cop-out. The musicians who break through understand their niche. They know exactly who they're making music for. They can describe their ideal listener in detail. And because they know their audience, they know where to find them, how to talk to them, what content resonates with them. When you try to appeal to everyone, you end up appealing to no one. Your music gets lost in the noise because it's not specifically for anyone. But when you get clear on your niche, suddenly everything becomes easier. Your marketing becomes more focused. Your content becomes more authentic. You know which playlists to pitch to. You know which communities to engage with. I'm not saying you need to box yourself into some tiny genre, but you need to understand who your music resonates with and why. Are you making music for people who love introspective indie folk? For fans of aggressive workout hip-hop? For people who want nostalgic 80s synth-pop? The more specific you can be, the better. And here's the thing. Having a specific audience doesn't limit you. It actually helps you grow. Because when someone feels like your music is made specifically for them, they become an evangelist. They share it with their friends who have similar tastes. That's how organic growth happens. Not by trying to please everyone, but by deeply connecting with someone. Problem number 5. Okay, this is the hardest one to hear, but someone needs to say it. Your music might not be ready for release yet. I'm not saying you're not talented. I'm not saying you should give up. But there's a difference between being able to make music and being able to make release quality music. Production quality matters. Mixing matters. Mastering matters. If your track sounds muddy compared to professional releases in your genre, people will notice. They might not consciously know what's wrong, but they'll feel it and they'll move on to something that sounds better. This doesn't mean you need a $10,000 studio budget. There are incredible records being made in bedrooms right now, but it does mean you need to either develop your production skills to a professional level or work with people who have those skills. It means being honest with yourself about whether your music genuinely competes with what's already out there. And beyond technical quality, there's the question of whether your music is genuinely compelling. Does it have a hook that sticks? Does it take the listener on a journey? Does it offer something they can't get from the 1,000 other songs in your genre? These are hard questions, but they're necessary ones. So where does this leave you? If the algorithm isn't the problem, if the issue is actually all these things we've talked about, what do you do about it? First, you need to shift your mindset. Stop seeing yourself as just a musician waiting to be discovered. Start seeing yourself as a music entrepreneur who needs to actively build an audience. That might not be what you signed up for, but it's the reality of being an independent artist today. Second, you need to build before you release. Spend time growing your social media presence authentically. Engage with communities in your genre. Collaborate with other artists. Create content that provides value beyond just check out my music. Build relationships with people who might become genuine fans. Third, treat your releases like campaigns. Plan them months in advance. Create a content calendar. Build anticipation. Make sure that when your song drops, you have momentum behind it. Give the algorithm something to work with. Fourth, get specific about who you're making music for and where to find them. Stop trying to appeal to everyone and start deeply connecting with someone. And fifth, be brutally honest about whether your music is truly ready. Invest in your craft. Work with producers or engineers if you need to. Make sure that when someone does discover your music, they're blown away by what they hear. I know this isn't the video you wanted to watch. It would be easier if I told you it's all Spotify's fault, that the algorithm is rigged, that you're just a victim of an unfair system. It is not false. But that narrative doesn't help you. It keeps you stuck. The truth is harder but more empowering. You have way more control over your success than you think. Yes, the music industry is competitive. Yes, breaking through is difficult. But it's not impossible and it's not random. The artists who succeed are the ones who treat their career like a business, who build genuine relationships with their audience, who plan their releases strategically, and who are honest with themselves about the quality of their work. Your music doesn't have 0 streams because the algorithm hates you. It has 0 streams because you haven't yet done the work required to get it heard. But now you know what that work is. Now you can actually do something about it. If this video helped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real talk about building a music career. Drop a comment below telling me which of these 5 problems resonated most with you. And remember, every artist you admire started exactly where you are now. The difference is they didn't wait for permission or for the algorithm to save them. They went out and made it happen. You can too.